Hello everyone. In today's video, we will continue from where we left off and write more locators, inspect more the application, write more in-depth tests so that we can a bit prepare to what are the most amount of locators possible we can encounter during automation testing. So to understand what could be the workflow of automation testing that you might be performing. So we basically before we created a way to go to our URL of our application to click to forms and then to click the form layout. So let's go to our application. So as you can see, what we did before, we basically clicked this, then clicked form layout, and we are in this page now. First of all, there are two things we can add to the previous line of code. One is that when you click to the form, or before even to click to the form, you might want to check that this element is visible, because if it's when you know the web application are dynamic. If we go to the application and the form text is not loaded, it might the automation test might go faster, try to click an element that doesn't exist and fail because of that, because it doesn't find it and it fails. So how can we make more robust the test? We could check that this element, we can get this element by text, is visible. And even though the click is it already checked for visibility, but in general, you can check that. You can make a double check. It's like a wait. Instead of putting waiting, an implicit wait, which you don't want, or an explicit wait, you could an alternative could be to wait to basically check for visibility. And then when you click, you might want. You see, when you click, it might not appear at the first seconds. So you might want to wait as well that the form layout is visible. So how do you do that? You can basically here go to remember always to put a wait, because if you don't put a wait, it will fail the test automatically, because as I said in the previous video, asynchronous operations require the sync, which you see here, and the wait inside. So that's how it goes step by step, line by line, running the line of code. So here we have a wait page always dot. No, in this example, we will not do this. We do await expect. So when we want to assert that something happens in the application, you in Playwright use the method expect. So you expect then the method, which is page dot get by text, and the text was forms, and then here you can use the two. As you can see, if you add the two, then it advises you already. You can use all of those. In this case, you can use the to be visible, which is one of the options. This will wait, as I said, for the form text to display. And you can do the same. So we can copy this. We can do the same here, but this time is form layout. But here, let's do a bit different probably. Let's take this. So let's take this element, which is this basically sending getting by text by getting by link. So we expect this element to contain text. So this time we're checking that the element, the locator, contains a text. So this is another way you can perform the same action. And the element was called form layout, even though in this case you might not need it because you already named, you checked and the link that contained the text. But just know that if you take a locator from a class, you might want to assert that that element contains the text, and you would do it in this way. So now this will act like it is an assertion, but it will act in the test like it is explicit waiting, which is the best practice to wait for an allocator. I really discourage almost always, to use the implicit wait. I can tell you that I managed not to use it. It's very rare I used it. I barely ever used it. So that is definitely possible unless some specific, very, very big exception. So it is really discouraged to use the implicit wait, which I will show you what it is. Actually, I will show you now. So the implicit wait is basically saying to the application, wait for tot seconds. So it will just wait no matter what. It will not wait that an element like this, that an element load so that you can perform the test fast and efficient. It will just wait. If you say it waits 2 seconds, it will wait 2 seconds, even if the locator will show up before. So, and you could do that doing await, expect, sorry, page, which is the normal, dot wait for, and then you can for timeout, and the timeout will be in milliseconds. So, sorry, like this. 2000 means it will wait for 2 seconds. 5000 means it will wait for 5 seconds. 500 means it will wait for half second, etc., etc., etc. This, as you can see, probably let's run the application to see when you do this, it will wait for 2 seconds. As you can see, it waits 2 seconds and then it passed because it performed the next action and all it went correctly. You might notice that it runs quite fast. Yes, Playwright is very fast. I can tell you that it is much faster than Selenium and Cypress, which I used already in the past, which is in a way great, it's fantastic. But when the tests become when you have a big application and you have big test suite, also it becomes slower over time. The more test, if you have a big test suite, it might run for much longer. Can take 40 minutes, can take 1 hour or 2 hours. It really depends how big is the code base, the automation test code base. But there are strategies I will show you in other videos that will exactly allow you to run the test in parallel so that it become more efficient, run faster. There are many other solutions anyway, but we will discuss in other videos. Let me know if you want this video and I will make. By the way, yeah, we launched the test and all is fine. Now, what we did, we clicked form layout, and we got to here. So now we want to check the locator. So we're searching. There are two ways to check the locator with the code gen feature of Playwright, which, by the way, I will dedicate a video about it. Will not use it for now, or with normally with inspection. So you click right click and click inspect. Then what we want to do, for example, we want to use the first, write a name, a surname, an email to check this and click submit. So let's do this. So again, click this locator, and you find what you have a placeholder. Placeholder, you must this class, for example, it has a lot of. I'm not sure if it's Tailwind, Bootstrap, or some other locators for to determine the class. But this is something that coders can change over time to if they want to change a specific size or a specific CSS of the application. They might want to change this. So it's not very reliable to use class. It is not actually. It's really discouraged to use. So then you need to use other tags, as I mentioned in other videos. What you can use, the type, text, is something. Why won't I want to use the tag, the type? Because it's not unique. As you can see, many other elements might have tag text. My goal is to go the most unique possible. So the most unique value here is placeholder, and that's what I will select. By the way, you might notice if you select and press Ctrl F, and then you add at the beginning a square bracket, you can check how many of these tags are present in this page, and there is only one. So basically, it's unique. This is positive because it tells us that we don't need to write the dot first or dot nth and then the number of the match. But we can just write page.getByPlaceholder. Let's do that. So let's take this. Let's go back to our code base and let's write like this. Wait page dot get by placeholder, and then we write the placeholder was Jane Doe and then dot, which action we want to perform. We want to insert a value in it. So fill is the one we're searching for to fill a value, and the value is name and surname. Let's say, in this case, Take It Okay, just because it's the name of the channel. Take It Talk Automation. Take It Talk Automation. By the way, subscribe if you find this content useful, and for checking more videos, we'll definitely provide you everything about Playwright, automation testing, software testing, and so I really advise you to subscribe to get a lot of value from this in the software testing and automation world. And so we feel take it automation. Now, what we do, we want to check here. We want to fill the email. So let's check the email. The email as a placeholder email. So we use the same way we did before. You can even paste this part to be faster and write email dot fill, and the email will be, let's invent it, info example, and that's it. Now next we will go back to our application. We want to check this, how to do this. So basically you select this element, and we see that this as a class. Basically in this case, custom checkbox seems potentially a good one to take because it's not, doesn't seem to be a CSS element. I will tell you a better way anyway what to do in this case. I just mentioned that you could add data test ID, but we'll go with this in another video. Now we can check with custom checkbox. So copy this right here, and we can see that there are 3 checkboxes. So what changed here? This is a good example. Do we want to check one of the checkboxes? So what we do here, because we have 3 elements which have the same name of the class, we want to select which element is that. So if you click here the flag, you can click until you get to our element, and we see that is the first of the 3, and that's how we will call custom checkbox. As I mentioned in the other video, is that you can use also the locator, page.Locator, to check classes and IDs and other tags. And in this case, the class is dot, because it's a class, otherwise it was already you should put an hashtag. Dot custom checkbox, and not, we didn't finish because we have 3 matches. If you select like this, you get an error. And actually, we can actually show you that exactly, that will be display an error. In fact, so let's check the reason. So the locator, the real reason it failed is exactly that reason. No, actually the reason was because, as you can see here, we tried to fill the email, but we have 3 placeholders with email. So we have the same situation here, which we didn't check, but we got an understanding. So considering the email was the first one, you can write either dot nth, which allow us to choose which of the match we want to choose. For example, the first one, then we insert 0. What I filled here. Let's do this. Or I could just write first, and that means the same thing. Or last means last match. Or nth if you want to put it the first, second, third match. So the first start always from 0. So this will make this pass. Here we write first just to change, because it was the first check box to add. And now if we run the test, you will see that it will pass, and it passed. By the way, let's remove the wait for timeout. It's I discourage to do, or let's do this. Let's comment it so that you can take note. For the moment, let's just leave it. Okay, so next, this we selected this, but what we want to do, we want to click the checkbox. If we have an input, then we can even add the check method. In this case, it's just a class. So for the class, you just click. Remember always to save, and then finally we can get by text submit. How many submit? There are many. So what we do, we get, let's see the element submit. We can get by link button with name submit. Let's do that. We get to await page dot get by role, which is link with the name, which is equal to the name was submit. Was like this? No, is submit like this. Like this. Then you save and we add mth 0 and we click. And we done our first test. We continued our test, adding another scenario of creating the form. By the way, you can do the same thing with this, but remember, they should always check which element is this. For example, if you have more email, you need to check, it's always the locator. You copy the tag, you insert it here, and we have 5 placeholder like this. So if you want to check your one, for example, if you want to check this one, this is the second. So you need to add nth2, nth3, nth whatever. So that's the way you should proceed. If you want to check this one, you need to do the same, select by class with the locator, etc., etc., etc. On this page. We'll stop here for today. Next time we'll go checking different things such as date picker. With this time we interacted with forms. Next time we'll interact with the picker, and we'll go a bit more in depth with the locators in different situations. That's it from today, and see you in the next video.